In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. This is Bryce D. Nyer coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg, and we are here for another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix, an attorney's exodus from what? From legal bondage. And we are fired up tonight. Okay, I'm fired up. Maybe you're not. So wherever you are, whatever time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I hope that your week is going well. So here's what we're going to talk about tonight. We are going to talk about this thing called hypocrisy. Yes. So for you would-be lawyers, you law students, you live in a world of hypocrisy. It's true. Everybody is a hypocrite. Everybody, bar none. You may think you're not, but you are. Because we all talk a good game about how we live, what we do. And then when nobody's around, we live a totally different way. We're a different version. There's always this thing called an alter ego of who and what we are. And a lot of times you'll see in this thing we call the legal matrix, some people call it the legal profession, but it's not. It's a matrix. And what happens in the legal matrix is a lot of times law students and lawyers present themselves in a totally different light. And they're not really who they say they are, or they have a persona or an alter ego. And they're basically, you could almost say they're kind of like a Jekyll and a Hyde. So you see in the legal matrix, i.e. the legal profession, i.e. the legal matrix, this thing of hypocrisy. Because if we had really true justice, I mean real justice, total truth, then we would have to start with ourselves. The judges would have to start with themselves. The lawyers have to start with themselves. And what would really need to happen is to basically lay our lives out there. Every email, every text message, every phone call, everything completely transparent about our lives. Because if we're going to sit there and we're going to go out and we're going to lead our clients and we're going to lead our teams, we're going to lead other lawyers, whatever we're going to lead in, we have to sit here and we cannot be a bunch of hypocrites. And society has been hypocrites ever since really Adam and Eve. Now, what's really kind of interesting is, again, depending on your religious beliefs, but in the Christian faith, when you read either the Old or New Testament, you find that most people, the message was, they were being hypocrites. They were living hypocritical lives. And so Jesus in his day, I know you're going to get a little Bible lesson here, in his day, walking on the earth, was kind of fed up with the legalists. And that's why he was really bumping heads with the powers that be in it was now modern day Israel. And these legalists all cited the law. The law is this, the law is that. You got to live according to the law, blah, blah, blah. But then in their own lives, they were just the biggest hypocrites that were walking on the planet. It was basically do as I say, not as I do. And you're going to find this. You're going to find this in the legal matrix. You're going to find this in the courtrooms. You're going to find this with your clients. You're going to find this with your fellow law students. You're going to find this with your fellow lawyers. Everybody. They're all hypocrites. And so what you have to do is you've got to take this deep, deep look at yourself in the mirror. And you have to say to yourself and ask these better questions in the domains of my life, whether it's body, it's being, it's balance, it's business fulfillment, and there's other domains. Where am I being a hypocrite? Where am I living one way, but I'm portraying the way I live in another way? I'm presenting myself as this person, but I'm really this person. And in a sense, I am this Jekyll and Hyde. Now, that's not to say that people like actors and singers and performers don't have, this alter ego. They present themselves when they're performing, but in real life, they may be different. You may have an actor or actress or a singer that's extremely boisterous on stage, a true showman or showwoman, but in their private life, they're just completely different. That's not necessarily to say that they're a hypocrite. It just means that they have a performance as an actor, actress, or musician, but in real life, they may live or act a completely different way. What I'm talking about here is those in this legal matrix that present themselves to be so righteous and apply the law and basically bear down on you law students and the lawyers and everybody else. But at the same time, they're more guilty and do the same things or worse when nobody's watching. And yet they don't want anybody to find out. And see, this becomes the main problem, the main crux of the crossroads, if you will, in the legal matrix, in the legal profession. Because the legal matrix, it wants you to be this hypocrite. It wants you to be something that you're not. It doesn't want truth. See, the legal matrix never feeds on truth. You got to understand that. The legal matrix, as we've talked about in the various earliest episodes, is this darkness, this bad darkness that just consumes everything in its path and puts you in this box, and it makes you act and talk and think a certain way, so you become so institutionalized. And it doesn't want you to live in truth. It wants you to have these bad alter egos. It wants you to be a hypocrite, to say one thing but do another, to do something but say another. And that's what you're finding out in today's world. Today's world in the court system, these so-called justice systems, it's just filled with hypocrisy. It's all over the place. I mean, ask yourself, is there real truth and is there real justice in the world today? Look at your world. It's a dumpster fire. And the main guilty party, it's us. We, you, me, all of us. Because if you're going to be this advocate for people that are being trampled on by the legal matrix, by the Orwellian powers, you cannot be a hypocrite. Now, clearly, we all sin. I'm not so much talking about sin because, there's no perfect human walking on this earth. And the only perfect human, he was crucified, rose again, whatever your beliefs are. He was perfect. That'd be Jesus. But us, we're miserable, pathetic human beings most of the time. And we sit there and we live in this sea, in this whirlpool of hypocrisy. If you really want to clean out the legal matrix, if you really want to kill off the legal matrix and its evil empire and its tentacles, then you have to start with you. And you have to stop being a hypocrite in your life. You have to stop being a hypocrite in all the domains of body, being, balance, and business. I said this one thing one time, and I probably should save it for another session, but I'm going to talk about it. We talk about this thing about like artificial intelligence. To me, that's just like hypocrisy. So like in the 4 domains of body, being, balance, and business, AI to me might be embodying artificial image, maybe in balance with your relationship with your spouse, artificial intimacy when you're doing and watching things you shouldn't, and being, which is your relationship with God. It might be artificial intelligent design because you're worshiping a false idol or something else, whatever it is, addictions, booze, drugs, porn, whatever. And in business, artificial inflation of your numbers. You don't really have the cash to keep that you keep portraying or pretending that you do have, and you're living in scarcity. And in a sense, when you are a hypocrite, when you live that lifestyle and that way of life, and we've all done it, come on, we all have, even me, then we become artificial. We become these artificial people. We're not real. It's not, the alter ego we have is not a good alter ego. I mean, it still comes down to, who are you when nobody's around? Who are we? Are we the same person that we portray ourselves to be when we walk into a classroom in law school or a courtroom as a lawyer or in anything in life? I mean, are we who we say we are? Are we what we say we are? Are we? I mean, right now, I want you to just take a second and just think about where you are right now. What do you do for a living? What's your relationships like? Where are you in physical fitness, body, and all these 4 domains of body being balanced, the business? And look at yourself. What are the facts of where you are? Is there a big H emblazoned on your forehead that says, means hypocrite? Because out of the billions of people on this planet, I would say probably about 9/10% of us are hypocrites. And we live in 2 different worlds. We live in sometimes a world of truth and sometimes a world of lies. And that's where the crossroads are, because you come to them and it's like, one is truth and one is lies. But in there, that common denominator is hypocrisy, the hypocritical person. And that's what you have to be careful of, because the legal matrix, it wants to trip you up. It wants you to be hypocritical. It wants you to walk into a courtroom and not be really truthful, although say they want truth, but in reality, you'll sit there and you'll advocate a position that you know is just a bunch of crap. And you will, because if it frees your client from a criminal charge or wins a civil verdict, or you defend your client successfully in a civil hearing, then if you were a hypocrite and you got your way and won the day, then you're going to feel good. But in reality, someday you're going to go home and it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. And you're going to get up one day, 10, 20, 30 years in the future, and it'll happen. It always happens. And you'll look in the mirror and there will be these scars emotionally, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, maybe physically, to where all those years have worn you down, because hypocrisy is like an infection. It's like a pandemic. And eventually it catches up to you. It catches up to you. Because the fallout from hypocrisy is really a foundation built on sand. And when you have a foundation that is not built on solid ground, eventually it becomes a big sinkhole. It's like quicksand. And you fall into your own quicksand and you drown and you die. So I want you to think about that. Where in your world are you being a hypocrite? Where are you being a hypocrite? And just think about this. If the legal systems of the world, the justice systems of the world, if every single person walking in there was 100% transparent and 100% truthful, and there were no lies, how different would our world be? How different would you be? How different would I be? How different would everything on this planet be if there was no hypocrisy? If we lived in truth, if we operated in truth? Because see, that's how you beat the legal matrix. That's how you win the war. You live and you operate in truth. And as has been said many times, the most powerful person in a room is the one who tells the truth. Because when you tell the truth in a land of liars and hypocrites, it's a declaration of war. And that's the problem we have in the world today. We have not declared a war on hypocrisy. We have not declared an open war on lies. We went along to get along. And then what happened is the infection inside each of us spread. And we became the ultimate hypocrite. So take that deep look inside you and ask yourself, where am I in my world in all my domains of body, being, balance, business, fulfillment, and the rest of them, where am I being a hypocrite? What do I need to do that I'm not doing? What am I not doing that I should be doing? You have to do this self-audit every day. And I'll just end with this. I have to do it, and if I have to do it, you have to do it. You can't lead people. You can't even lead yourself if you're a hypocrite. It's one of the things that all of us have to stop doing. We have to stop being hypocrites. We have to stop living a life of hypocrisy. Because if we don't, there will never be truth. There will never be real justice. There'll be a multi-tiered legal system where eventually its foundation will collapse, and all of us will collapse with it. Okay, this has been Bryce D. Nyer coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. We've spoken about hypocrisy, being a hypocrite. Don't be one. Ask yourself the better question. Remember what it is. Where in your world, in your domains, are you being a hypocrite? All right, so till next session, next episode, listen, love and light. Enjoy the remainder of your day, evening, morning, week, weekend, wherever you are, wherever you're listening to this, and reach out to me if you have questions about escaping the legal matrix. If you have questions as a lawyer about how to open, own, operate, lead your own law firm in truth and do it before you pass the bar, then reach out to me. Reach out to me, email me, and contact me, and let's build that army of litigators who live and operate in truth to go out and war with what? War with the legal matrix. This is Bryce D. Nyer, and again, love and light, and we are out of here.